Here's my unpopular opinion as a dietitian. Food can be enjoyed over the holidays. You can be satisfied. You can enjoy all of your favorite foods and desserts while still maintaining your healthy relationship with food and staying on track with your health goals. And that's why I wanted to give you 10 tips in this video to enjoy food over the holidays in a mindful way. So without further ado, let's get started with tip number 1. Do not restrict yourself all day just to binge on the big meal. I understand the thinking behind this. The thinking is, oh, I'm not gonna eat very many calories now, so then I can eat all of my calories later, and it eventually evens out. But let's tweak it a little bit because our body doesn't work that way. If we restrict ourselves all day, our body is gonna get hungrier and want calories. It wants food for our brain to function. It needs food. It needs calories for our brain to function. And we are depriving our body of that all day. So our body is just gonna keep sending those hunger signals and keep making us hungry to force us to eat. But if we try to override that, by the time we get to this big meal, we're gonna eat so much more than we have ever planned to eat. We kind of overshoot. It's like when you're at a 2 on the hunger level, whether you realize that you're at a 2 or not, some people may not even realize it, but you might be on the verge of hangry. And then when your body senses that there's food now, you swing all the way to a 9 or a 10 and stuff yourself until you're so full and you feel so uncomfortable. It's this restrict binge cycle that we want to avoid. It all starts out with this restriction. Then we struggle, we feel so obsessed with food. And eventually we binge on that food and then we feel guilty and we go back to restricting again. Not only does this happen on the micro level, like during Thanksgiving Day for a lot of people, but it also happens on the macro level, like during Thanksgiving and Christmas, we eat all this amazing food and then come New Year's, oh, I need to restrict, I need to be on a diet, and then we binge again and the cycle just continues. There is a way to avoid this from happening while also staying on track with your health goals in a healthy way. And for those who actually have health goals, if you are actively trying to lose weight or you're trying to get healthier, I understand how stressful the holidays can be. So what we want to do instead is, sure, we can be more mindful with what we're eating before we get to this big Thanksgiving feast or Christmas dinner. This could look like, for example, for breakfast, having oatmeal with maybe less peanut butter, maybe more fruit, maybe throw some protein powder in that oatmeal, or having egg whites with lots of vegetables and a little bit of avocado and some whole grain toast. Did you know that research shows when we eat a high protein breakfast, we tend to have less cravings throughout the day? For example, this study showed that those who ate breakfast over 7 days were more full, had less hunger, less desire to eat, and had a decreased appetite hormone called ghrelin, which increases appetite. Those that skipped breakfast actually ate more in the evening and they had less protein overall at the end of the day. And we know how protein is so important for weight loss and muscle building. Like, I know intermittent fasting is very popular these days, but I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is what works for you. Tip number 2 is to find ways to move your body throughout the day, because even a little bit of physical activity can really boost your mood, it can boost your energy, it can boost your focus, and it really has long-lasting benefits to your mental health and your brain. There is a great TED Talk that I will link down below, and it's by a neuroscientist who explains all of this in more detail and much more eloquently than I ever could. So definitely check that out if you need some motivation for exercise or physical activity. But even getting outside and just walking for a few minutes can really make a huge difference. Maybe in between, oh God, there's a huge truck right now. But I really think that we tend to underestimate the importance of exercise and the importance of just walking. Like, it can literally be just a 10-minute walk every day, or in between your Thanksgiving dinner and your dessert or something like that. Just finding a few pockets of time where you can get outside, even if it's in the house, and just walking in the house for a little bit can really, really have huge benefits. Tip number 3, figure out what foods that you're really excited about. What foods are you really, really looking forward to, and prioritize those over other foods that you don't really care about and don't really look forward to. Because why waste your time, your energy, and your calories on food that you don't even really enjoy eating? So focus and prioritize all the delicious foods that you actually want to eat. Tip number 4, ask yourself, how do I want to feel when I'm done eating? Do I want to feel satisfied, content with my food choices, or stuffed and uncomfortable? Sometimes when we set an intention beforehand about how we want to feel, it can really help guide us into how much we're going to eat, what we're going to eat, how fast we're going to eat, and how we're going to enjoy that food. So decide beforehand to make it easier on yourself to make certain food decisions. And by the way, I have a whole video on how to deal with cravings where I talk about this in detail, and it's a part of this mindful eating playlist, which this video is going to be in as well, so you can watch that video or the full playlist if you'd like. Which actually brings me to tip number 5, which is while you're in the process of eating all of this amazing, delicious food, instead of just stuffing your face as fast as possible, you want to take a moment to really appreciate and enjoy your food. And I know this can sound really hippy dippy, but just stick with me for a minute. If we just take a moment to use all of our senses in the food experience, smelling the food, tasting the food, really feeling the textures and the flavors in our mouth, not only will we enjoy our food more, but we also start to slow down and actually listen to our body a little bit better. Listen to what it's saying when it's saying it's had enough. And this way of eating truly has so many benefits. And for a more in-depth look at how to actually eat mindfully and what to focus on, what questions to ask yourself, what to pay attention to, you may want to watch this video right here where I go into all of that in detail. And I take a piece of chocolate and I show you with that piece of chocolate how to eat mindfully. Because this is a tip that you can use no matter where you are, whether you're on vacation, traveling, whether you're with friends or family, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Anytime you want to appreciate your food more, slow down, and also enjoy your food a little bit better, follow these tips in this video. Tip number 6 is another little piece of mindful eating, and it involves taking breaks to check in with your body and assess yourself to try to understand what your body's telling you. Does it have anxiety right now? Are you feeling your heart rate increase? Is it hungry? Are you feeling your stomach growling? Is it content? Do you feel satisfied? Or is it overly stuffed? And one way to start to learn how to do this is to take a couple deep breaths before you start eating or in between your meals. If you find yourself kind of distanced from your body, just take 3 very deep breaths with your eyes closed. Take a moment to yourself and then try to assess what your stomach is telling you and what your entire body is telling you. Another way to do this is to check in with your hunger level. After you take those deep breaths, decide on giving yourself a specific number based on what hunger level you're at. A 2 could be you're so starving that you feel dizzy or hangry, and a 9 or a 10 is that you're so uncomfortably stuffed where you just want to zone out and not do anything else. So doing this can really help you learn how to listen to your body, and over time, you're just gonna get better and better at it, but you do need to practice this regularly. And if so far you've gotten any value at all from this video, I would really love it if you would hit that like button for me to let me know. Thank you, thank you. Tip number 7 is to find things to focus on other than food. Because if we put so much thought and focus and pressure on food, and if we revolve our entire day or our entire life around food, it's not going to be very pleasant, and it's going to be very hard to stick to your health goals. So remember that there's so much more to life than just food, even throughout like Thanksgiving dinner, because I know sometimes it can go on and on and on, and food is just the center of the day. But what else do you look forward to? What else can you enjoy? And this might be something that you could journal about for a little bit to figure out. Because if you're constantly thinking about food, and if you're constantly near the food table, your body will probably naturally want to eat more. Tip number 8 is to remember that one food or one meal is not going to completely ruin your health. I know we might kind of know this intuitively, but think about it. We often fall into this all or nothing mentality. We start to think, oh, I already messed up once. I already ate all of this crap. I might as well continue eating crap for the rest of the day since I already messed up. But think about it this way, okay? If you were driving and you ran a red light, would that mean that you were going to continue running red lights for the rest of the day since you already messed up? No, right? It doesn't make any sense. That's kind of an all or nothing mentality. So remember that just because you messed up doesn't mean that you need to continue doing that for the rest of the day, because it's not going to help you in any way. Instead, we want to learn from what we did. We want to see what can we do differently next time to make us happier and more content with our choices. It's more about following healthy habits consistently over time that's going to give you results. And one meal or one day is not a big deal. Tip number 9 is to try to use a smaller plate if we can, because it is true that using a bigger plate, you're gonna eat more food because you're gonna be able to fit more food on it, and you might feel a little bit more of a subconscious pressure to eat everything on your plate, and it might distance you more from actually listening to your body. And if you wanna go back for seconds, you totally can. So this is another way that you can enjoy your food without feeling deprived while being mindful at the same time. Tip number 10 is learning to say no to people that may push food on you. I know this can be especially hard because you might have people during the holidays, whether it's friends or family, who keep trying to make you eat more when you're really stuffed and when you're trying to listen to your body or trying to stay on track with your health goals. And this can cause a lot of stress and anxiety. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself, engage in self-care, do some deep breathing and meditation, but also learning how to say no politely and remembering that no is a complete sentence. Or you can even add something like, I'm really trying to listen to my body right now and it is not feeling comfortable. Or I would enjoy this food a lot better maybe tomorrow, or take it for leftovers when I'm actually hungry again. Because I know in certain cultures, including my culture, it can be kind of rude to turn down food. So you can always say, can I take this home and eat it later? It looks so delicious, but my body is just really stuffed right now and I don't want to feel uncomfortable. Did you guys know this is actually my 4th video on my playlist on mindful eating, where I talk about all of these little tips in more detail, including how to listen to your hunger, how to deal with cravings, and how to truly eat mindfully when there's food right in front of you. So if you're interested in that, you can check out this playlist right here, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye! That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see. Yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun. I still dream about the days when we were